Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by TJS Ceramic Studio, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Welcome, everybody, back from vacation and ready to bring you more Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. Those conversations today include singer and actor Jimmy McLain, fresh off being in the premiere Playhouse production of Hair. Later, Dakota News Now meteorologist Lexie Merley and show host and producer Baylee Peterson bring their energy to the show. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Whatever you're drinking and whatever you're drinking it out of might very well be determined by where and when you're listening. My choice, the usual, a Jasper Newton Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime. For you, be it a cup of coffee, a spot of tea, glass of milk, bottle of water, mug of beer, a cocktail, glass of wine, or a flute of champagne, lift it high and toast to neighbors helping neighbors. All right, let's go through the bad part. This past week, Mother Nature on a rampage. Historic flooding, excessive heat, made for trying times. But the tremendous response of good-hearted, well-intentioned people always comes through to help people in need in this area. So cheers to you, good neighbors. Speaking of cheers, which just happens to rhyme with beers, say cheers with a beer or your favorite cocktail at Chasers, West 12th Street and Ellis Road. Make sure you grab some food while you're at it. Join me Monday nights at 7 for Dave Holly Hour Trivia. This Monday, we'll celebrate America's freedom as we get geared up for the 4th of July holiday. Honorable mention. What over the past week made Dave laugh, guffaw, chuckle, chortle, giggle, smile, simply smile, or maybe even shed a tear of joy? Hosting trivia Monday night after missing the week before while on vacation. Great to see all the regulars as well as a few newcomers. And I'll admit, it was good to be missed. It was the monthly wild card game, and yes, it did get wild at times, but it was all fun. Later in the show, Lexie Merley and Baylee Peterson from Dakota News Now. In just a few minutes, Jimmy McLain on the Dave Holly Hour.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics, inside Oscar's Mini Storage. We have thousands of classic vintage ceramic mold items and several new items too. TJS Ceramics offers classes, special open studio nights, and completed ready-to-purchase items. Bisque, studio time, or painting parties are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in person today or email tjsceramics@gmail.com for more details.
Take in the great works at Serendipity Studio and Gift Gallery in the Shriver Building. So many great works from regional artists. They offer so many ways for everyone to participate or interact with the studio as well as the artists. Saturday morning at 10, you can take in a guided paint class for wildflowers. Next Friday, July 5th, is First Friday in downtown Sioux Falls. That's the monthly Meet the Artists evening. July 7th is a downtown photo walk, starting at 10 a.m. Visit their website at serendipitystudiosd.com. That's serendipitystudiosd.com. Full list of upcoming events. Serendipity Studio, located downtown Sioux Falls in the historic Shriver Building at 230 South Phillips Avenue on the second floor.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Support the Dave Holly Hour in a very easy way. Buy Dave a cup of coffee by clicking the cup at davehollyhour.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Oh, I hope you're surviving all the heat and the floods and everything else. It is good to be with you, no matter how you might be listening, no matter where you might be listening. It is greatly appreciated. Maybe you're a streamer. Maybe you're a downloader. Maybe you just peek in from time to time. It all counts and certainly appreciated. And what I appreciate is when somebody says, yeah, Dave, I'd love to be on your show. And it's a new guest, and I don't even know where to start on the introduction with them. So I'm just going to say, with us today, entertainer, Jimmy McLain.
Yes.
How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome, Dave.
Oh,
How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. And you have been busy this year.
Yes.
When it has come to being on stage and just being, productive in so many different ways. And you just finished up Hair.
Yes.
With TPP.
Absolutely.
Wow. I tell you, I mentioned to somebody today even that, Hair isn't necessarily one of my top 5 musicals, but I like the show yet. But the production of it by you guys.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Just absolutely outstanding.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful to hear. It was such a labor of love. I think all of us coming in were all coming from so many different backgrounds, and we really melded as a tribe, as a group. And I think that's what the biggest thing we wanted to display on the stage. And yeah, just the production, like we would come into tech and just see the set kind of coming into life. And that got us so much more excited. And it was just a really cool process. Probably the most difficult show I think all of us have ever done, but probably the most rewarding and the most fun for all of us as a cast. So I'm glad you were able to enjoy it.
Well, we always have the same seats. We're right in front of the audio board and visual boards and so forth. And so we catch a little bit of some of the cues and so forth. So that's, it's like a director's cut or something almost. And it's always just great to listen and then to find out how many cues are in particular shows. That's just, for those of you that don't know, there's going to be a cue for a particular light. There's going to be a cue for particular music. There's going to be a cue for people's microphones, all of these different things. And this one, I didn't find out how many, but I'm going to guess it was upper hundreds, possibly over 1,000.
It's definitely up there. Kudos to Kevin Wintering, our stage manager. He's back there, basically being a symphony orchestra conductor of everything going on with all the movement, a lot of moving parts, lots of props, lots of lighting cues. Corey Shelsta absolutely was wonderful for our lighting. I think he just had so much fun being able to light us and that set. And Aiden was our sound engineer. He definitely had a difficult task of trying to figure out when we all sing and managing it with the band. And so that kudos to him as well. I mean, it definitely takes a full village of doing everything. Bob Nelson on microphones and doing sound cues, which
the microphone wrangler.
Yes, Mike Wrangler. Yes, the Mike Wrangler extraordinaire. I think it was just the biggest fan of all of the music, and he was just a great person to work with. Again, he always has great stories about the history of the Playhouse and just how much he loved Hair and the music. And it was nice having him there to really support us and just be like, you guys are doing great, and just really helping us get through it. And our crew did amazing. Backstage crew, Elizabeth Wintering and Joseph Karnoff were running the deck, and we had just an amazing crew, and it was really like.
Did Jake Cox do the props?
Yes, Jake was props and the puppetry.
That's
just
right, the puppetry.
It was amazing, just the amount of creativity that he has shown, and it was so much fun. I was the John Wilkes Booth puppet, so I had to. It was very fun to be those characters, and then Etta was Abe Lincoln, and Etta and I have a really good relationship since Mermaid, and we had to have a lot of fun.
What a great gal!
Oh yeah, I love Etta. She's she's amazing. So. Yeah.
What drew you to being in Hair?
I think it was just there's something about it.
Because you're obviously younger than someone such as myself or Bob Nelson, who loved the music.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it was drawn. I mean, it was for auditioning. It was TBP does it in 2 shows at a time, so it was Oklahoma and Hair, and they really didn't want to have cast overlap, and so. I intended to audition for both, but I think Hair just spoke to me in terms of just the it pushed a lot of us out of our comfort zone, and I wanted to be pushed out of that, doing something different, doing more of a rock musical. I'm more familiar with, your Rodgers and Hammerstein, sort of your classics, and then this was just something I felt would be so much fun to learn from. And a lot of I was talking with a lot of other people like Etta and Audrey Simmons and Clinton Storr, and just kind of seeing what they were feeling like, and they're like, well, Hair's going to be really fun. I think you should do it. And just kind of like, you kind of just feel out, certain people. And and I wanted to work with Oliver too as a director. I worked with him some with Little Mermaid, but that really was Patrick Simonson's he took the reins on quite a bit on Mermaid, and Patrick's great too. And I think you couldn't go wrong with either Oklahoma or Hair, but for me and just what I wanted to learn and what I wanted to gain from the experience, I think Hair spoke to me a little bit more. So,
what was your favorite song to sing?
That's a hard one. Walking in Space is really great just because it features a lot of us, and I think it's very, it kind of leads into the trip sequence a bit, and it's very fun to sing. 3500 really grew on me too, just the intensity of that song. It's very intense, talking about how this is, something that we're satirizing it being such like it's a war, and everyone's so happy doing the war, and like we got to support the troops, and it's really not like that in culture. It had a lot of like Saints Go Marching In, kind of that Southern style of singing, and those are probably my top 2. Let the Sunshine In, I think we all grew to really appreciate and adore that song and what the message we were sending with it. So
between that and Age of Aquarius, and then the combo of the 2 of them. But when Let the Sunshine is like, this is just, and a lot of people are familiar with those 2 songs, and you probably might have had a familiarity with those 2 before getting into rehearsals.
Yes.
And isn't it interesting how something else will pop as to what the favorite was?
Yeah, especially like those 2 being so popular. I think some of us knew them through, at least for me, like Aquarius, we played in Pep Band. We played it at the Vietnam War Memorial thing back in high school in like 2007. They had a big ceremony and brought veterans in and Pier for that. So we played that along with a few other bands. And Let the Sunshine In is so culturally really big. It's been redone so many times. But it was... some songs like came out and we're just like, oh, this is a good one too. Like Dead End. I was humming Dead End during strike yesterday. I was just like, oh, it's so good. And when you have Etta, Allegra, Liv, and Clinton, singing at the top of their game, and Ebony as well. I mean, just amazing. And those songs are just ear candy. They're so good. So
the cast, it was loaded.
That
was an amazing cast. It's kind of ironic because my wife and I just watched the movie Unfrosted about the Kellogg's versus Post.
Yeah.
And we loved it. And it's just like, we always love those where there's this big cast of stars. And that's one of the things that I love when we go to Premier Playhouses. This is a cast of stars.
Yeah.
It is not, so-and-so. Oh, be interesting. Yeah. No, you look at that program, the playbill, and it's like, okay, know them, seen them both. And it's just lovely to take a look at that when it comes to community theater. What got you interested in theater to begin with?
Well, I grew up in Pierre, and Pierre has a fairly strong arts community. I think growing up there, the biggest thing for theater that you could do as a kid, especially, was the Missoula Children's Theater, and it's been very fundamental for a lot of smaller towns to have that. So our city would fund it, and they would do a musical right in the beginning to middle of August, right before school started. And it would kind of be a week or two kind of intensive things. So we did Jack and the Beanstalk, Rumpelstiltskin, Snow White. My sister did Snow White first, and she was one of the 7 dwarves. And they take it and they make them a little bit more, they will add characters or I don't know. So the 7 dwarfs were all different sayings instead of sneezy and dopey. She was oh yeah, and oh yeah was the one that she had the tambourine, and all she said was oh yeah, and just shook her tambourine. And I think my sister was maybe 6 or 7 at the time, and I was just I want to do that. So then every year, probably up until we were about 11 or 12, we did the Missoula Children's Theater productions in Pierre, and there was a lot of high schoolers that we were familiar with through swimming that were also involved. And so Morgan and a little bit with me, we got involved with Capital City Children's Chorus, and Barb Newman was the late Barb Newman, and Pierre was the director of that. She was also a music teacher, and I got into band with her at 5th grade. I started doing percussion, and I did piano lessons for a long time too. So a lot of the music and art stuff just kind of fell in naturally. And my parents were very encouraging of it. And it just became definitely a thing for me and my sister, especially a thing that we did together. That was kind of my journey into it. And then did some of it in high school, but kind of fell out of it. And then throughout my 20s, didn't really do much of it again, but it kind of just always snuck back to me. I was like, oh, I really want to do that. Or I'd go see a show, or I saw Hamilton, a few years ago prior to COVID. I was like, oh, I really want to get back into theater again. So it just, it finds its way back in weird ways. So
a couple of things. I mean, I think if I ever meet your sister, I'm going to introduce myself and say, shake your tambourine.
Yes, right. Yeah, shake your tambourine. Yeah, give us a little, oh yeah,
Love that. Very cool. And then, so you got out of it for a little bit and so forth, but who really kind of gave you a boost? There's usually somebody in that.
It's kind of a combo thing. I think my grandma was always a big supporter of the arts. She was a teacher from Oldham, South Dakota, which is kind of between Madison and Lake Preston. Oldham, Ramona, Rutland. Yes. Our family farm is out just south or just outside of Oldham, and she was a big proponent of the arts. She was a big singer. She sang in choirs and stuff, and she sang in church, and she was always very encouraging. She always said, Morgan and I had a good voice. Morgan and I sang a bunch of church songs and hymns at the Century Farm induction for our farm back when we were kids, and she was always just a really big proponent of the arts for us. And I had a lot of other cousins that were also singers and involved in acting and things like that too. But I think mainly it was my mom. We were driving home from our family reunion last summer. I had just moved to Sioux Falls that Memorial Day. And so we were out in Hot Springs. And I was like, I know I'm going to need something to do besides just be in teaching. Because I've kind of just been doing my career, been teaching or coaching. And then I want to do something else hobby-wise that I want to really take on. And that really kind of propelled me. And she was like, well, I was like, check out this. I showed her, we were driving, and I was like, hey, they're doing Little Mermaid and Christmas Carol. I'm thinking about auditioning. And that was maybe 3 days before auditioning. And so I signed up, and my mom has been so encouraging since then. She's like, yeah, you should definitely do it. And that kind of propelled me to just continue it. Once I got into Little Mermaid, that was it. I was hooked. So,
pun intended.
Yeah, hooked. Yeah,
pun intended.
Yeah, pun intended. Yes. Yeah.
Going back just a little bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you were percussion, but you've done piano.
Yeah.
Didn't that used to be like a requisite if you're going to be playing drums at all? You had to play piano
Absolutely.
first.
Yeah, in Pierre, they were fairly strict on it too, because sometimes they'd get so many kids that want to do percussion. So they're like, you have to have 2 years piano experience because you have to be able to play the mallets and know where notes are,
Right,
you know your scales and things like that, and kind of have a little bit of a sense of rhythm too. So, so I started piano first grade, and I did it for I did it all through up until probably middle of high school. And I've really enjoyed it. My piano teacher was great. She was so encouraging. I ended up doing piano duets with my sister and with some other kids in town. We always had a recital every year. I mean, it was just so many fond memories with that too. So, yeah.
Multi-talented.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you are. So let me ask you this then. What do you prefer, acting or singing?
That's really hard.
Because musically you get to do both.
Yeah, right. I think going into this year, it was definitely singing where I felt more confident. I definitely felt myself being really stiff and kind of like not sure and anxious as an actor. I would say now it's kind of 50-50, but I still kind of prefer singing a little bit more than acting. Acting does have its own challenges. I've definitely found more of comfortability in my movement and how I project and different things. I took the improv class with Debbie Jones, and she kind of really got us all out of our box. She's wonderful too. That was the biggest thing, is like, I want to do this, but I want to do it so that I'm learning things. And that's the big thing that I want to do it for, is to learn and be open-minded, be very open to feedback. Jesse Jensen's been a great friend to get for that, because he loves to coach, and I was like, I want to be coached, so please help me. And he was just somebody that I connected with really good during Christmas Carol. And I think I'm growing as an actor and as a singer, but I definitely prefer singing. I love to sing. So
all right. You mentioned coaching, but this was coaching you for the theater. But earlier you were saying teaching and coaching. What did you teach? What did you coach?
So I started out as a teacher, middle school language arts in Pierre, and then I moved into Spanish. High school, I've taught high school geography, and I've also taught middle school social studies. So I've moved around a lot. It's usually middle school, high school, somewhere in the humanities realm. So that's kind of my bread and butter, at least for teaching. And then coaching has been swimming. I was a swimmer at SDSU. I started competitive swimming, my sister and I both, when we were 7-8 years old. And Morgan's first race, my sister, her first race was a state qualifying time from the jump. So we kind of went from there and competed at national meets, state meets, multiple time state champions when we were kids. And that definitely felt, at least a little while for both of us, like a job for a while. And then we kind of took a step back, did some other things, and then kind of went back to the sport on our own terms. And all three of us, my younger brother and my older sister and myself, all swam at SDSU. And so coaching swimming definitely feels very natural to me. And I love to connect with kids and to help teach them and learn, the competitive side, but also the water safety side. So
as you progress in your acting and musical career, do you foresee yourself becoming a coach in those fields?
I kind of do. That was something that I've been kind of like thinking about too, is maybe going into theater ed or music ed as something to do, even just teaching lessons. I'm definitely very open to that, because I think those two, the coaching and kind of advising side of things, even directing or stage managing, I think it is a lot of just relationship building and collaborative work. And that's where I feel like I really thrive, is having that creativity, but also having things delegated to me, and kind of like, and then just working with young people, working with other actors. I find that to be a very fun process. And it's part of the reason why I like acting too, is like, I'm a cog in this kind of greater thing that's happening. And then you can really like learn some different things. It was so much fun to learn from Clay and see how he music directs while also trying to play his guitar and, get all of our voices on track and making us sound really good. And he was just,
that was absolutely off the charts incredible.
Wasn't he? Oh my gosh. Like, I think he was just one of those that we would just watch him sometimes. Like I would just hear him just going crazy on his guitar in the warehouse, and we're all just all like trying to sing and stay focused. But I'm like, I can't stay focused. I got to watch what Clay's doing. But so talented, so generous of his talents and of his time, and just his crazy expertise, not only in voice, but in managing, a rock band essentially.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's a really, really cool process.
So when you auditioned for TPP the first time, just a year ago, basically, how long had it been since you auditioned for something?
It was 3 years. The one thing that I think got me more out of theater, that out of like a 10-year span, was I was living in Ecuador at the time during COVID. I had signed up to be a teacher out there before COVID started. My mom, unfortunately, was diagnosed with cancer for the second time. I was home for Easter when she got the diagnosis. And I was like, I'm going to move back. And then I saw, I'm going to need something to do this summer. And my friend and teacher, former mentor of mine, Jimmy McLain, he was our Latin teacher. He's our student government advisor at Riggs. He's been retired, but he's still involved with the arts. He's like, well, they're doing Man of La Mancha. And Rod Bauk, who is the choir teacher at the time, also a good friend of mine, just was, I got on Zoom and I auditioned, and that was my audition back in 2021 June. So it was the first show out of COVID for peer players. And that was kind of that had been the most recent audition. I played Dr. Carrasco. I got to play a villain, which was really fun. I got dressed up in this crazy suit of armor that they had from, I think they may have done Three Musketeers a few years prior. So they had that. And but prior to that, it had been, since high school, I think it was Brigadoon auditions. And I was, I got an ensemble role, but because of my Crohn's disease, I had to back off. So I just played in the pit band for it instead. My high school time, I wanted to do so many of the arts and plays and things, but it was really difficult to do that with the Crohn's diagnosis. Ended up having kind of a major surgery my junior year. So, it had been since then. So a long time coming. I mean,
So how did you go into that audition then? Were you confident or were you ready to go to the bathroom?
Right. For Man of La Mancha or for Brigadoon?
For coming back into the theater
for
last
this.
year. For TPP.
For TPP. I was nervous, but I was like, I'm just going to go for it. I felt like I've grown in my voice a little bit. I think my range has gotten better as I've gotten older. I was just like, I love this song. I've been singing it since COVID. I sang Santa Fe from Newsies. I watched the Disney Plus show that had the musical on it, and Jeremy Jordan and all the cast from the original. They made a movie for it, and I was just like, this is a great song. I think it speaks to a lot of like my life, and I'm just gonna belt it and see how it goes. And but I was very nervous and my feet were shaking. I was like, I feel like I'm gonna,
Exactly.
Right. I was a little nauseous going in, but I was pretty good. And then once I sang it, I was like, I'm just glad I did it, no matter what happens. And now we're here. So
And where do you go from here? What's next on the agenda?
I just want to continue to learn more and audition and kind of see what happens. I've kind of explored not only TPP, but just gotten to know some people in other companies as well. I think there's such a wealth of talent and a wealth of different companies. And I think it's such a cool community that's very interconnected, with everybody. And I think the importance of being earnest is just a show that I've always wanted to do. So that's what I'm kind of have my eye on. But I'm just open to whatever kind of comes my way. And I think I want to get more experience with maybe stage managing, maybe an assistant director role, maybe in a few years, and just kind of, just learn more and grow more. That's kind of, that's my plan for the year. So
it's a good plan.
I appreciate it.
What's the dream role?
I've definitely told this to Mike when we were doing Comfortably Single, and I didn't realize that he was playing Seymour, but I was like, I want to play Seymour. And then like a week later, I was like, you're playing Seymour. I'm going to audition anyways, just for fun and just to get audition experience. So I'm already doing hair, but I was like, Seymour is definitely one. I would say that's a tough one. There's a few other ones that I would have loved to do, but that's definitely the big one is Seymour from Little Shop. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we end with 2 questions.
Okay.
How you answer question number 1 might determine whether we need to ask the second one. And since you're a first-time guest, you get these 2 versus, if you come back, which I know you will at some point, then you'll get different questions. But when you are not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say just live music. Anywhere that I can go to experience live music, I love being entertained by that. That would be a big one. Another one is just being around other people playing board games. I have the Dungeons and Dragons group that I have started with other fellow TPP artists that has been very, very fun. Seal Stoll is our dungeon master, and Kevin Wintering's in it with me, and Etta and Audrey and Ian. So it's a great time. That's always fun. Yeah, I love to be entertained. I love to go to the Levitt. That was something that my dad has gone to since they retired. So we were always going to live music with my mom and dad. And I'm an avid reader as well. So if I can get live music, maybe some board games. I love to read. I love to read plays and short stories and science fiction. So that's probably my big 3 in terms of what I like to be entertained by, for sure.
All right. Any other hobbies?
Well, swimming is kind of a big one now that I'm starting up again and trying to be semi-competitive with it, but just to have fun. I love to hike. I love to be outside. I would say, those are probably the main ones, is just being outdoors and active and just being by the water. If I can get by the water anytime, I mean, Pier was beautiful for that.
True.
I treasure growing up there just for the access to the outdoors and access to the river. Those are probably the big ones. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Jimmy McLain.
Yeah.
What a pleasure to get to know you better.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, Dave.
Thank you. Appreciate it, and appreciate everything that you've been doing in the arts,
Yes.
and will continue to do in the arts. Look forward to seeing you more.
I appreciate it, Dave. Thank you.
Right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Comedy magician and hypnotist Jesse Moffat's right. He can't play the piano, but he can sure entertain crowds with his amazing magic and clever quips. His shows always make the participants the stars, especially when they've fallen asleep on stage. They've been hypnotized. Are you the party planner in your group? Then you owe it to your group to make the event magical, even if it puts you to sleep. Here's how.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or exokairos.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Funny, engaging, connected. He's the entertainment reporter for Sioux Falls. Here's Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I have to say it. It's in my contract that I wrote myself. It's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. And it's always a pleasure to have new guests on. Sometimes the entertainment isn't necessarily that they're a performer per se, but they talk a lot of entertainment because they happen to be television hosts on Dakota News Now.
Yeah.
Now, Lexie, Merley, do you officially go by just weather person,
I
weather
am.
girl?
Actually, I'm
Weatherly.
officially a meteorologist.
You are a meteorologist.
I spent a lot of nights studying for tests, so I could be called a
And
meteorologist.
Excellent.
Yeah.
In fact, you even got to fill in for the Big Chief a week or two back, didn't you?
Yes, I did. You know, I'm going to be doing it a couple more times.
Oh,
Yeah,
good,
so watch out for that.
Yeah, all right. We'll do so. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Baylee Peterson, you are a host.
I am a host.
Yes.
I'm an anchor. I kind of do
you
it
still
all.
do some
Produce.
reporting?
I don't do reporting. That's the one thing I don't do. I produce the show
Right.
at 9 a.m. and then I anchor and host the 9 a.m. with Aaron Downer.
Yeah.
So that's always fun. We get to also have guests fill in. We had Lexie fill in a few times, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then I anchor the 11 o'clock news, and that's kind of just news. So I get a good mix of everything. But I get to produce too. But yeah, reporting, I miss that a little bit at times. But yeah.
Because that's how
love what
you
I do
started
now.
at Dakota News now, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And then when that opportunity came up, you took the ball and ran with it.
Oh yeah, and I love what I do now, so it is really fun. And it's a
And
fun
Baylee,
show.
you are such a personality on the 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be on that show.
It is a fun show.
True.
It's fun having
It is
people.
so
It's
fun.
so fun having everybody fill in and like getting to see all the personalities and like reactions to all these wacky topics that I throw in and see how people react to them.
Yeah.
What is the most favorable part of working together? Because you get to do it a few days a week on the 11 o'clock, right?
Oh yeah.
I'd say probably because we're best friends outside
Yes.
of work.
Ah,
so like
that works.
we shop together, we do
Yes.
pickleball, we go on
Sometimes too
walks.
Oh, no.
So,
you didn't say the
I
P
mean-
word, did you?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
Oh, pickleball. Oh,
yes.
my.
And we love it. I mean, we just love hanging out. So I think like that really probably shows on air because you can just tell. We get along really well.
I think sometimes the backstage people, the people running the booth, kind of get sick of us yapping sometimes. But
Oh yeah, when the break's on, we're still yapping.
they're like, stand by. Stand by. They're still talking.
We're
Stand
still
by.
So it is really fun though. It's
It's
such
so
a treat to
fun.
be able to like work so closely with someone.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
awesome.
I didn't know the best friends part outside of work.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be, hopefully I'm still in your wedding. I don't know.
Yeah, she's one of my bridesmaids.
After volleyball
Okay.
yesterday with her fiance, we had pretty competitive.
It was pretty. It was getting. We were getting down and dirty a
So
little bit.
hopefully I'm still a bridesmaid.
You're still
And was
Fingers
that
crossed.
sand volleyball?
Yes,
It was sand.
Oh.
And it was hot yesterday.
Yes, it
We
was.
were in a heat advisory yesterday.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
just saying.
Well,
and they still
and
had volleyball.
see, I was hosting trivia, but that was inside with air conditioning and
Oh,
beer.
lucky. Oh, that sounds better than we
That
were.
does sound better.
And you'll have to come out to trivia sometime.
Yeah,
Oh,
might
yeah.
actually win one of those.
We like
Yes.
trivia too. We've done a few
See?
of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we
yeah.
go. Monday nights at Chasers, 7
Oh,
o'clock.
okay.
Yeah, it's a perfect place for it. And yeah, you should sign up for one of their leagues.
I don't know if we're league ready.
We gotta brush up a little
Got
bit.
enough
A little
of.
bit.
All right. So Baylee, you get to be a little bit more entertainment oriented in your spot as a host because you get a lot of people that call you up and say, "Hey, Baylee, we got a show coming up. Any chance we can be on?" You know, like the Vaudies might.
Oh yeah, the bodies have been on a few times, which is always a treat. I love being able to kind of highlight just performers and just kind of everybody in the community. I mean, businesses, events, nonprofits, fundraisers, like it's just so many just different things going on in Sioux Falls and even in South Dakota in general. Like just being able to highlight and show what people are doing is just the best part of my job.
Yeah, I always love it when somebody says, "Well, there's nothing going on this weekend."
There's always something going
There
on in
is
Sioux
always
Falls.
something.
Yes.
Always.
You know, as a producer of a variety show, one of the things I tell other people when they're trying to plan an event, and they're going, "Well, you know what? We can't do that date because of," and it's like, get out a dart, put up a calendar. Oh, okay, that's the date we're doing it because you're going to compete against something.
Mm-hmm.
There is so much going on, but I'm very, very thankful for that. You know, when I started the show 5 years ago, I had written out a list of at least 50. It was probably closer to 75 people that I wanted to have on the show. And I still have like half that list I've never talked to because you start going to things and you find new, interesting people. And it's like, man, they'd be great to have on the show. Got to have this person on, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And it just keeps growing. And so, you know, I have had over 350 different guests on to this point. And I can imagine you got to be
I was gonna say
climbing up those numbers too.
Well, we launched our show in October, and even since then, like you kind of have that fear. Will I always find people to come on? 4 interviews a day. It's a lot, you know.
Yeah, it
will I
is.
always be able to find people? And there's no shortage of talent, businesses, I mean, people in Sioux Falls to interview. So you can always find great people, like you said.
Yeah. Well, I think the last time that Emily and I were on to Pump the Body show, we were told, "Oh, you're the third, so it'll be closer to 9:20 or something like that."
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
Guests coming in and out all day, but I think it just brings
rotating
a lot of life,
door.
right?
Yeah, it does.
To the newsroom.
And you know, I think that's one of the best things that has happened after the merger of KDLT and KSFY, and now you add Fox and all the other little side channels and so forth into it. It's just been the fact that you've got so much more you can do. You know, you've got over 8 hours of news a day. You're very busy, Lexie, on the weekend.
I am, yes.
Because your schedule is actually Wednesday through Sunday.
Yeah, so I actually just changed my schedule. I used to be Thursday through Sunday, and then I would work split shifts on both Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now I'm Wednesday through Sunday morning. So
how do those mornings treat you?
those mornings, my weekend mornings they're not so bad. I only have to get there at like 6 a.m. But when I fill in for Aaron Downda, usually I'm there by 2:30, 3 a.m.
Wow.
Which can be kind of rough to rotate schedules all the time, but it's always fun, and I get to be on the 9 a.m. with Baylee that day.
That's true, yeah. Because otherwise, Duda, as I so love to call him, is your 9 a.m. partner.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been fun, and I did get a chance to talk to him recently, and that was just a recent move, too.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, what did you get out of? He says, that was part of the bargaining chip.
Yes,
you know?
it was.
So, but you two do great together. You two do great together. So it's just winning combinations all around. What do you hope to accomplish even further then in your shows, especially as a producer and a host?
Oh, I have a lot of great ideas, especially with summer. I think there's a lot of great chances. If you stick around, I think we're going to be heading out and doing some road shows potentially at
Excellent.
fairs, and maybe you'll catch us at some, events out in South Dakota somewhere. So we kind of want to bring the show on the road a little bit, and then I just think, get outside the studio. We actually have talked about maybe going and doing things out in the community, maybe like riding horse or just shooting some arrows, things like that, learning how to do different things in the community, showing what there is to do in the summer. So, yeah, I think looking to just bring it more outside of the studio. Right.
And show people how incredible pickleball is.
Yeah, maybe we'll even play pickleball for a segment.
Okay.
Maybe that's in the future for us.
Boy, such a great sport.
You got to get into it, Dave. Have you tried it? Don't knock it till you try it.
That's true.
Right?
I'm a big proponent of that. Don't knock it until you try it. But I've got a replaced hip. I've got a replaced knee. I lost a toe a few years back. And I'm old.
Well, you don't have to move so much. They say
that's what they
really
say.
Good for everybody. Yeah.
But then I see people on pickleball, and I'm watching ESPN. It's like they're pros, man. I can't do that.
You do break a sweat.
Yeah, you do. But
that wouldn't be bad for me.
Yeah, well,
if your partners aren't too competitive, you can kind of.
It depends who you're going against.
Right.
Cordell Wright. He's
Cordell Wright. Yep.
Yeah.
We went against him. It depends who you're playing and how fast they move and how hard they hit.
Yep.
Oh,
wow. If you can really hit them, I mean, you're moving pretty quick to try to defend them.
Right.
Because it's a wiffle ball.
Oh, yeah.
With like a kind of a closed up racket ball.
Yeah, it's easier than
racket,
tennis.
Right?
It's easier than tennis.
I would say
it's
so.
easier than tennis.
Less,
Good.
Less strenuous.
Yeah, because I watch tennis from time to time, and all I hear is
right.
Yeah, because it's so awful.
It's like that's a workout. All right, and speaking of physical fitness, didn't you both run this year?
Oh yes.
Yes, we did.
Did we have a competition between? I do want to hear this story.
So Baylee comes up to me a couple of weeks before that event when everyone's signing up. She's like, "Hey, you should run this 5K with me." And I said, "Well, I'm not very athletic by any means, but okay, let's do it." She said she was gonna stay with me the whole time.
I had to sell it.
She had to sell it, yeah. And who can say no to that face? Like,
I had to sell
it. I couldn't say no. So we ended up doing a couple of workout classes together. We did the Couch to 5K program. We had our own trainer for a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Sarah. You were amazing.
She taught us a lot.
She taught us a lot. She did put up with our antics. So.
Oh, yeah, because we were so this Couch to 5K, we're like, I'd say we're somewhat in shape. You know, we're.
Oh, I didn't think I was in shape.
Well,
I think you're in shape.
I thought we would be okay. I mean, we started this 5K. It was lifting and it was hard. And I think we looked at each other and laughed a few times at like, oh, this is no joke. Like, this isn't just for the camera. Like, this isn't just.
Meanwhile, Sarah's running laps around us.
And she was a great trainer. So
she was great.
It was so
she
fun.
Made it so much fun.
And I think you were glad you did it.
I was glad I did it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to race day, Baylee.
Okay.
Yes.
What happened during race day?
Oh, race day was really great.
I'm not a runner by any means. I did not get into meteorology by being athletic. Actually, I kind of got into it because in sports they would put me on the bench so much. I just watched the clouds. So thank you, all my coaches in the past, really inspiring me to become what I am today.
That's quotable, you know.
Yeah, but so we're doing this 5K.
We ran together most of it.
We did. I made it about 2 miles. It was easy breezy, easy breezy, beautiful for about 2 miles.
I don't know if I can do this, and I said, Lexie, take my AirPod. We're listening to music.
Yes.
We're doing this.
She said, take my AirPod. We're doing this. And I was like, okay. I did like another half a mile, and I was like, I can't feel my legs, girl. I gotta stop. My toes are tingling.
I should have waited for you. You told me to go. You did say to go, and I said, well.
Well, you were looking at me like.
I was like, should I go? Should I wait?
No, you were. You're
said.
I'm leaving.
Well, I mean, it's a race, Lexie. What do you want me to wait for you? And so she's like, okay,
so
fine, you can go. So I leave, and then I realized, well, my AirPod, I can't hear the music anymore.
Let me tell this. Let me tell this part. She's about, I don't even know, a couple 100 yards ahead of me. I'm dying at this
She's
point.
walking.
She's walking. I walked from one light pole to
walking.
the next light pole, and then I start running again. I see my best friend turn around, start running towards me. I go, oh, she's coming back for me. No, she was coming back for her AirPod.
Yeah, why would I come back for
The music was cutting in and out. Why would I come back for you?
I couldn't hear anything. And I was like, I'm hearing my breathing now, and now I want to stop. So I'm like, I'm either running back or I'm walking. So I ran back. And her face lit up, and I felt so bad. But I'm like, can I have my AirPod? And then I sprinted the rest of the way, and I did.
Yes,
I could not believe like the energy at the end that I got. I just sprinted the rest of it, and
it was a sight.
But it was.
I
really
did
fun.
see a video of that. I think of you sprinting.
And you just think. I mean, what got me through that race, honestly, was just thinking like, this is the cause, right? Like people are battling harder things than this.
Oh, yeah.
And if I can't just like go as fast as I can and do what I can, like, you know, it's a battle. Right. And I got chills when everybody was there. It's the best event in Sioux
some
Falls.
of the pre-warm up before that too, just seeing the whole community, everybody showing up for the cause, and
it was a great event.
Really gives me chills kind of thinking about it too.
So are we going to have a challenge between the two of you again next year?
Maybe if you give her a couple of 5-pound weights for her ankles, then I would say yeah.
Maybe we'll just have to train harder next year.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll train in secret and you won't even know.
I thought you were training in secret for a little bit.
I ran by myself because I couldn't keep up with you when we would practice.
Oh man, it was good though. It was
good.
Really good. I think those things are important to sign up for, and that's what I'm trying to do. It's another goal.
Well, and you know that's something that has come along in the news industry over the years. Is what people are doing when they're not at work, or how they are getting involved in the community and bringing the community aspect along with it. You know, because it used to be, you know, just read the story of Walter Cronkite. That's the news, blah, blah, blah. But now there's such great interaction, social media, you know, the morning question of the day, and things along that line. And it's fun to see that it's not just, you know, some nice people behind a camera talking into a microphone and pointing to the weatherboard, the green screen, and you know, things along that line. So it's really great to see how that part has grown. Does it make you feel that you have become more entertainers then, as well as just journalists and meteorologists?
I feel like definitely with this role, I've definitely like learned more skills as an entertainer, and kind of. And I think it definitely brings kind of your other personality out too, and it builds your confidence and builds your, you know, ability to articulate, speak to people, and like just makes it so easy to go up to somebody on the street and talk to them and
yeah.
meet new people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's just really special with the job too.
Yeah, and going back to like even some of those events that we do participate in, some of my favorite forecasts are doing forecasts for those specific events. Like we had the Avera 5K forecast or your farmer's market forecast, just like doing little things like that.
Canaries,
of course. Yes, we're doing a couple of soccer forecasts now. Just stuff like that.
Fridays on the Plaza.
Fridays on the Plaza.
That's a great
being
event.
involved in the community, I guess. Yeah.
We were headed to a Fridays on the Plaza a few weeks back, and
and
it was cold and rainy. Yeah.
I don't know what is up with every single Friday lately.
Well, see, here's the thing.
It's not my fault, I swear.
Take this over. Let's see everybody.
No.
Lexie, you want to share your email for those that are mad about the weather?
Aaron down to forecast in the morning.
Yeah. So by chance, normally I work on Fridays at my regular job, but this Friday I have off.
Oh.
How's it looking?
Well, I haven't worked since Sunday, but we were forecasting rain for Friday, unfortunately.
Oh, shit.
But today, I work today. I will say, I think it looks like it might, they said it might clear for Friday. So Tyler was saying that he says we're hoping.
All right.
Always
we're
very
hoping.
optimistic.
But,
for Fridays.
optimism might, you don't want to hold out your hopes.
When I was
because the weather in South Dakota
it didn't look like a total rain out.
Yeah.
Like no huge system per se. Just off and on shower chances, which by the way, my least favorite to forecast for.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Have you heard the stories of well, a lot of people knew him as Captain 11, but the old weather forecaster Dave Dedrick that worked at Kello?
I did not.
He first of all, he was an amazing broadcaster. You look back at a bunch of video of him doing live TV commercials, he was a master at it. But at his 75th birthday party, I was in attendance, and it was a big roast for him and everything. So finally, when he gets his chance to get up there and speak, he talks about all the tricks that weather people have now. He said, I had a no-miss forecast every night. 20% chance of precip and partly cloudy.
Yeah.
Yeah, play on the safe side, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
That's great.
All right.
True,
What about the business? Where have you had like an embarrassing moment on camera?
Ooh.
There's a lot of them with my show, Dave.
Yeah.
I've had to do
hard to
wing
think of
eating
just
competitions.
Oh, we had to do. That was me.
We did a wing eating competition, and I ended up drinking barbecue sauce because I
She's
couldn't.
so
They were dry
competitive.
wings, Dave. I couldn't do it.
My.
So then it's what do you gotta do? You watch the hot dog competitions. They're drinking water.
Yeah,
You need liquid.
drinking
So
water.
all I had barbecue sauce.
That actually.
Doudna was giving her water,
That
not
actually
me.
scared me so much. I stopped eating wings. You won that fair and square.
That was I got competitive with it.
I know.
Yeah.
Don't challenge Baylee to anything.
Apparently.
It was fun though.
Well,
I
in
would do it
fact,
again.
I can't remember what the
Kinda tasted
competition
it.
was going to be, but I do remember one moment. I think that you were both filling in early, and you said something. Then Lexie comes back with a smart retort, and then you go, "You're going down, Merley."
That sounds about right.
Probably. That sounds like us.
We gotta be us on the show.
Oh yeah.
It's serious news, but we gotta be us sometimes.
You're seeing us sometimes,
Yes.
maybe outside of work.
Right.
Comes out a little bit at times. The competition, the friendship there. So
Yeah.
Well, you know, one of the things you get as a host now is, well, except during the 11 o'clock where it's more news-ish, but you do get that spot to laugh and so forth.
Oh, yes.
Because otherwise, it was always going to be like, okay, who out of the straight news people is going to crack?
Right.
And what will it take to make them crack?
See, I want that. Like, let's
Yeah,
get on
that
somebody
works
that's
for it.
never, like, that's pretty stoic. Like, if you watch Sam Wright do the news, he's he's serious. But you catch him outside of like work.
Really?
He's so funny.
Yeah.
He is hilarious, and I would love to get him filling on and just.
Sometimes when he and Tyler Roney do the 4 o'clock too, Tyler will just
Yeah.
say something, and Sam, you can see the smile start to creep up.
Because at the end of the day, we're people.
He
So
has
Yeah.
the best laugh too, by the way.
yeah.
If
Oh,
you can
does he?
get Sam to laugh, it is honestly better than the joke most of the time.
That's a great
Well,
part.
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna-
get him on the show now.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I got to get him on the show because I want to record that laugh because, you know,
should.
I told you both that, you know, there's a celebration coming up in June for this show. And so one of the things I need to start doing is going through old shows and finding great clips. And so far, there's two people that have been on that have incredible giggles. The comedian Dan Bublitz Jr.
Yep.
And then Ruben Rodriguez, who plays bass for anybody. And Ruben also was the first one that was officially interviewed here in this studio in the home. And he brings a bag. No, he brought 2 bags full of tacos.
Oh.
And I said, you just became my wife's best friend. He says, I'm a Rodriguez. I know how to bring tacos.
Oh, I would love tacos. We didn't bring tacos. Sorry, Dave.
Not a problem.
I did have tacos
Next
earlier.
time.
Well, the best gift I ever get is Jack Daniels.
Well, we didn't bring that either.
We didn't bring that either.
Next time. Yeah.
Next time.
I still have half of my matcha tea latte if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, see what I give you. I give you
Oh, perfect.
a beautiful.
It's so pretty. I don't want to drink it.
It's the new
I love
vintage.
it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a great vintage, and then you've got if you do drink beer, which it sounds like maybe you do.
Sometimes.
There's a refrigerator magnet that also has a pop top on it. There's a pop top on a keychain. And look at that. Those nice little carabiners. So you don't have to wrestle with a key trying to get on a tiny little ring.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I never figured those really out that much anyway.
Yeah.
Aren't they so
It's like-
difficult?
Well, with our nails too.
Yeah.
We get our
Oh.
nails done all the
We
time.
also do that
together.
together. So.
But
Oh,
it's so
goodness.
hard to get the key ring open.
Exactly.
It is.
Yeah.
Nobody
like-
talks about that enough.
It's the only time. It's the only time that a straight blade screwdriver gets used anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
Pop
I'm glad
that
we had
open,
this
move
By
it.
us.
I'm glad we had this talk because this is something people don't talk about
Right.
enough.
Right.
Do you find that there are subjects that you never thought you would talk about on TV?
Oh yes, Dave. There's
Okay.
plenty of subjects that, and that's my favorite ones to talk about. When I
yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
like it comes back and my hands over my face, I'm laughing like it. It cracks me up some of the stories that are in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And just what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
The trend, like things, like I don't know if it's a deer jumping over a yard fence and like running into a house or things like that. It's just
When
crazy.
they had the Falcon story, Taylor Swoop.
Taylor Swoop and yeah,
That got me.
yeah, that's the best part is I love to
I
do a
love
mix
that.
because then you really can
Right.
just
Well, one of the rounds that we do at trivia is now current events, and then I try to throw in musical cues and so forth here and there. And when it came to this 43-year-old singer-songwriter, record producer, entertainer was just arrested for DWI. Who is that celebrity? And as I'm picking the music cue for it, it's like,
Mr. Worldwide.
I can't stop this feeling.
oh no. Yeah.
There
that's
were
tough.
so many to choose from for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but
tough.
you
That
also
would
sit
be-
there and,
right.
too many times you also go, oh, too soon?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Well, the kid-
See, I don't throw those in on purpose, and I don't need to talk about that.
Right.
Let's talk about something a little more lighthearted here.
Right.
That's the best part of the show is you'll find some good lighthearted topics in
And
there.
some like really heartwarming stuff.
And
too.
heartwarming, yes. It just I was talking to someone this weekend. Actually, I was out in West River, and she was like, "I love the show because it is like you have that sense of like human interest, and
Right.
feeling, and I was like, wow, do you like that? I mean, I always wonder, is it too sad for people? Some of them, and she's like, no, that is what keeps people like the emotion real.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and you
do.
have such a good mix of it too. It's
Yeah.
just
yeah.
The thing that I enjoy now, I mean, it always hasn't been this way, but the chemistry that so many of you have together, and it's just like, they can talk back and forth and everything's good. It's not this jumbled up mess or any, I got to one up somebody
right
and so
right.
forth. So it's just a really great thing to
Well,
see.
a lot of us hang out outside
yeah.
of work too.
Yeah.
Like we were
Oh,
in
yeah.
that volleyball league we were talking about. We played last night with
It's called Faces for Radio.
Yes.
That's our volleyball team. And we're not very
I
good at
was in
volleyball
radio
either.
for 25 years, and I did have the face for radio then. Actually, more it was the body for radio.
Yes, that's our team name. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
yeah.
fun, and
It
we try our
is.
best, but
we have fun.
we're definitely we don't have the volleyball skills either.
We have a lot of fun though.
We do have a lot of fun, I will say.
All right, so let's move on. You talked a little bit, Baylee, about some of the things you would like to do, maybe get the road show going and so forth. Lexie, what about when it comes to presenting weather? One of the things that you talked about you've been doing are the specific event and so forth.
Yeah, we've actually made a couple of changes not too long ago. Tyler Roney and I actually have our own little web weather show. Now you can see that on Thursdays at noon on the Dakota News Now website, and also we stream it on Facebook. We just kind of talk about current weather events, any significant things that have happened in the last week or so. So probably this week we'll be talking a lot about that flooding that much of southeastern portions of the region have been really experiencing. We also are doing another web show with other stations that Gray TV owns around the area. So we make a couple of weather packages for that. So that's been really fun to kind of collab with other stations.
Well, I've noticed like on Fridays in the morning show, then we get to see what's happening West River for people that are going to be going out there.
And
so
just stuff like that too. Doing forecasts for, I don't know, just traveling or whatever people are up to. But
I love how creative she gets with the graphics. Like if you ever watch like her graphics, I think you spend a good amount of time on them, and they're so creative.
Sometimes too much time.
Like what to wear graphics, and I think people like love that because sometimes it's like weather. It's like, you know, and then I look up and I'm like, oh, what to wear,
right?
Or Thor's trash can is there today. Like those things.
I
really,
do save some of the more fun forecasts for you, Baylee.
Yeah, I love how creative together because you know I love how creative you get. So, and I think the viewers appreciate it too. So,
oh, good. I hope so.
What's the number one interview you want that you haven't had?
That's a hard question, Dave.
I get in one per interview, and then we're at 28 minutes now.
If I can interview anybody, like in South Dakota or in the world?
In the world.
Oh, man. That's even harder. Man. Can it be like selfish?
Yes.
Stevie Nicks.
Oh,
I have to say.
Oh,
and that sounds, I mean, it should be
That's
somebody maybe
selfish.
more like, you know, but Stevie, I want to sit down with her. I want to hear everything.
Oh.
I love her.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've read her book.
See, I would have thought you were too young to be a Stevie Nicks
Oh, I'm the
fan.
biggest Stevie Nicks fan.
She's
I like the
Great
oldies,
to
actually.
hear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I like the oldies. So, but I think I would love to interview her. So, yeah, that would be my dream. I mean, if I thought harder about it, maybe it'd be someone maybe really influential, but top of my head, Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
Lexie, who would you like to fill in for doing a weather segment? Like on a big national scale?
You know, I wouldn't mind to be on the Weather Channel. I'm not going to lie. So if anyone from the Weather Channel is listening, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring for that one.
I'll try to remember the hashtag. I'm Weather Channel.
National Weather Channel.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
Here I was thinking it was going to be Al Roker or
I wouldn't mind that
or
either.
Dylan Dreyer.
That'd be either.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be really cool.
See, if I ever get to New York City, and I'm going to stand out there for 4 hours waiting for the Today Show people and so forth, I'm going to do that bucket list thing, and mine will include getting to say on national TV, but first, this is Today on NBC.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
My life would be
That would
complete.
be so satisfying.
Yeah.
And you always think too, like, because I do my own hair, makeup. We have to do our own
Yeah.
dresses. We get our own
People
dresses.
think that we have people for that.
Yeah, next time you
do
don't like
not.
my lipstick shade, I picked it out, guys. Okay, I styled myself. Okay.
Oh, I can't remember who it was that was working the morning of 9/11, a gal, and it was the morning show on, it would have been KSFY at the time.
Okay.
And she got an email that morning that her scarf did not match her dress.
Oh.
9/11 is
There's
going
bigger
on.
things going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigger fish to fry.
But
Yeah.
people are just really strange
You
sometimes when
do
it comes
see
to
that.
You
You
do.
do see that in the news world. But
Yeah,
You
you
just gotta brush
it off.
Yeah.
But yeah, that you always like kind of envy the top markets in
Right.
TV because they're probably getting hair and makeup
Yeah, they are.
done, and they're getting a big
Then when
budget
they
for
get
clothes.
complaints, they can just pass it on to their hairdressers. Say,
Yeah.
Hey,
But we probably need that budget for our clothes. We like to shop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right?
I was, and I don't mean this to come off in a male perspective, but you ladies look very nice, and that's appreciative too. You have great wardrobes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we
Yeah.
try. We shop
Yeah.
together, so
We
it helps.
do. And you know what? The most important thing, we tell each other the truth.
Yes.
Oh.
we
If
do.
this doesn't look good, I will. I'll tell you, and I know
Yes.
you'll tell me.
We tell each other
That's
the
part of
truth,
being
so.
besties. So.
But yeah,
That's how you know.
And it is. I mean, getting ready every day. It's a
Right.
process. So
It is. Yeah.
All right. Well, as first-time guests, you get the traditional questions that I used to ask all the time, but if you ever get on the show again, we'll change the questions. How you answer question number 1 might determine whether the second question needs to be asked. So, Baylee, when you are not part of what you do for a living and you're going to go out and catch some arts or entertainment, what do you like to be entertained by?
Ooh. Well, lately we've been going to comedy nights at Lucky's,
Uh-huh.
and that is actually pretty funny.
I love doing that.
Or they do trivia nights sometimes at Lucky's.
Yeah.
So I kind of like doing those things and getting out and seeing people like comedians. Like lately, that's been my new favorite thing.
Okay. Any other hobbies?
Oh man, I like to get outside and hike. I also like to pickleball. I mean, I'll do any sport. If you have a sport in mind you want to play, I'm down to.
As long as you get to be competitive.
And I'll be competitive. Yeah. I'm not gonna let you win easy, that's for sure. But yeah, I just like to get outside. I like to walk downtown, check out all the different like breweries we have and things like that. Yeah. So there's plenty to do, like you said.
All right, Lexie Merley.
Yes.
When you're not doing what you're doing, what do you like to go out and be entertained by?
Well, since it's chasing season, I do a little bit of storm chasing here and there when I can and when it's not too terribly far away. Me and my fiance like to go out to comedy night, volleyball. You know what? Whatever Baylee wants to do that night, pretty much, it becomes
karaoke. We do karaoke sometimes.
I get that, hey, text. Yeah, we do.
You mentioned the great K word of all time.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you don't want to hear that, but
yeah.
Any other hobbies?
Excuse me. I do have a little dog that I just pretty much take with me everywhere.
Yeah.
We went to Starbucks together today. She got a little pup cup. Just spending time with me. My fiance, my dog. My fiance just graduated a couple of months ago, so I've been very happy that he's finally living in the same city as me again. Been able to spend a lot of time with him, and then just kind of
planning for the wedding.
Out. Oh my!
I'm
how
sure
did I
that's
forget
a lot,
wedding
right?
planning? Yeah,
that's probably a full-time job.
So when's the date?
It is August 30th of next year.
August 30th
so I have
next
a little
year.
bit of time.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
We gotta plan the bachelorette party though.
That's your job. That's the one thing I don't have to worry about.
I get to do that. I'll do a good job. Don't worry.
I trust you.
All right. From Dakota News Now, Lexie Merley and Baylee Peterson, thank you both so much. I know you have busy schedules and appreciate you taking some time out to be on the Dave Holly Hour.
Yeah, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Oh, my pleasure. And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics inside Oscar's Mini Storage. Bisque, studio time, painting parties, and finished items are available. Visit TJS Ceramic Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
He's jazzed to the eyeballs. Once again, here's Dave Hawley. Crikey, mate.
Thanks again to my great guests, Jimmy McLain and Lexie Merley and Baylee Peterson. As always, the biggest thank you goes to each of you that listen, download, share, and follow. Don't forget to follow Dave Holly Hour on Facebook and Instagram. For all 235 episodes, go online, davehollyhour.com. While you're on the site, use the search function to look up your favorite artists. If they've been on the show before, you can go back and listen anytime to those previous episodes. In fact, you can listen to any episode anytime. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by TJS Ceramic Studio, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, simply buy Dave a cup of coffee. Go to davehollyhour.com and click on the coffee cup icon. Don't forget to stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.